You know that feeling, right? The sting of rejection, that physical ache when you're heartbroken. We've all been there. But have you ever stopped to wonder why we use words like hurt and pain for feelings? Is that just a metaphor, or is something much, much deeper going on in our brains? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
I mean, think about it. An unwanted breakup, being left out by your friends. It doesn't just make you sad. It can feel like a genuine physical punch to the gut. So is that all in our heads, just a figure of speech? Or is our brain trying to tell us something real?
All right, so let's start by looking at a fascinating clue, and it's hidden in the very words we use to talk about our feelings. This is pretty wild. It's not just an English thing. All over the world, in totally different languages, people say their feelings are hurt or that they're in pain after getting rejected. For scientists, this was a huge breadcrumb, a sign that the link between social pain and physical pain might be hardwired into us.
Okay, but shared language is one thing. How do you actually prove this connection is real? Well, researchers decided to go straight to the source and look inside the brains of people going through intense heartbreak.
You see, for the longest time, the official story was that emotional pain was just a powerful metaphor. But what science is now telling us is way more literal. The brain actually uses some of the exact same wiring to process a broken heart and, say, a broken arm.
To test this, scientists did something really clever. They found people who were right in the middle of a fresh, painful, unwanted breakup. And why them? Because that kind of intense rejection is one of the most powerful forms of social pain we can possibly experience. It was the perfect emotional state to study.
So here's the setup, and it's brilliant. While these heartbroken people were in an fMRI scanner, they were shown a picture of their ex to bring up all those feelings of rejection. Then, separately, they were given a hot but safe stimulus on their arm that was genuinely painful. The goal was to put the brain scans for social pain and physical pain side by side.
And the results were, whoa, just stunning. The fMRI scans showed that the very same regions of the brain lit up for both experiences. Looking at a photo of an ex literally triggered the same neural pathways as a physical burn.
Now listen up, because this is the most important part. It wasn't just the brain's emotional centers that were active. The overlap was in the secondary somatosensory cortex. That's a fancy name for the part of your brain that processes the raw, physical feeling of pain. It's the ouch center. So rejection doesn't just feel like pain. To your brain, it is pain. And get this, that part of the brain is incredibly specific. A massive analysis of over 500 studies found that when that area lights up, there's an 88% probability that the person is feeling physical pain. It almost never gets activated for just general sadness or other thoughts. This is a huge deal. It shows that social rejection is a truly unique kind of emotional pain.
Okay, so we've established that social pain is real pain. But why? Why on earth are our brains wired this way? Well, the answer takes us way, way back to an ancient survival circuit.
It's called the negativity bias. And the easiest way to think about it is this. Our brains are like Velcro for bad experiences and Teflon for good ones. We are fundamentally wired to pay way more attention to the bad stuff than the good stuff.
Sounds like a terrible design, right? But it all comes down to survival. This bias helped our ancestors learn really fast to avoid the poison berries, remember which neighboring tribe was hostile, and, this is the big one, avoid getting kicked out of their own group. For our ancient relatives, being socially exiled was a literal death sentence, so the pain of rejection had to be a powerful, unforgettable signal.
And this ancient survival circuit, it explains another thing we've all experienced. Why that one super awkward thing you did 10 years ago can still pop into your head at 2 in the morning and make you cringe.
As neuropsychologist Kristen Sline puts it, this isn't a bug in your system, it's a feature. Our brains are designed to lock onto uncomfortable emotions to make absolutely sure we learn from our mistakes and don't make that same dangerous error again.
So here's what's happening. The moment you have one of those awkward or embarrassing experiences, your amygdala, which is kind of the brain's emotional command center, goes on high alert. It basically whips out a giant fluorescent highlighter and scribbles urgent. Pay attention to this all over that memory.
So because of that emotional tag, the memory gets special treatment. Your brain pours more resources into recording it, burning every little detail, the sounds, the sights, that awful feeling in your stomach, deep, deep into your long-term memory. That's why it feels so vivid.
Okay, so understanding why our brains do this is the first step. The next and most important step is learning how to work with our brains instead of against them.
And here is the single biggest takeaway of all of this. When your brain replays that embarrassing moment from years ago, it is not trying to torture you. It's not being cruel. It's just running an old, outdated survival program. It's trying to protect you from future social threats.
Dr. T.Y. Tashiro really hits the nail on the head. Our need to belong is so fundamental to our survival that our brains evolved this hair-trigger alarm system for any potential social mistake. That cringeworthy memory you have, it's just the echo of that ancient alarm going off.
So, what can we do? To balance out that negativity bias, you have to consciously help the good memories stick. When something great happens, really be present. Soak it in with all your senses. Talk about it with someone. Write it down. You're basically telling your amygdala, hey, this one is important too. Save this one.
And as for those old memories that still manage to pop up, try this little reframe. Don't see it as a reminder of a failure, see it as proof that you've grown. The very fact that you cringe at it now means you've learned the lesson. You wouldn't do it again. It's part of your history, but it's not who you are now.
So, now that you know that those embarrassing flashbacks are just your brain's ancient, overprotective survival guide in action, can you start to see them differently? Not as something to be ashamed of, but maybe as the tough, painful, but powerful lessons that helped make you who you are today?